Come on in to the conversation. You're watching me on several platforms, on one of several platforms. You could be watching on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. On whatever channel you're watching, we want to welcome you to the conversation. Now, if you're new to the conversation, be sure to like it and share it and then subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. And if you are returning to the conversation, we want to welcome you back and thanks for your support. Before we get into tonight's subject, I want to acknowledge some anniversaries that have passed in the past few weeks, in the past week. On February 20th, we commemorated the 1956 Montgomery bus boycott. That was in a protest of mistreatment and segregation in the South and in Montgomery. And in that instance, 89 people were charged with organizing the bus boycott, and they were jailed and they were convicted the very next day, which shows you the state of that legal and justice system in Montgomery. On February 21st, we commemorated the 1965 assassination of Malcolm X at the Audubon Ballroom in New York. He was assassinated in front of his wife and children. Another emasculation of a Black man, for him to be gunned down in front of his family. On the 22nd of February, we commemorated the murder of Ahmaud Arbery in Glenn County, Georgia, as he was minding his own business, taking care of his health by jogging in his neighborhood. He was assassinated by two wannabe cops and their go-along camera person, and that video was used to convict them, and they're now in prison. And on Sunday, February 26th, is the commemoration of the murder of Trayvon Martin in Sanford, Florida. He was also killed by a wannabe cop, and that person was found not guilty, but we know that he was murdered because of the color of his skin, and he was just a kid going to the store to get some candy on his way back, minding his own business. So I just wanted to acknowledge those people and their families. And in your own, there's always an acknowledgement for something that goes on in our community, in our overall community. So again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. Now, the 5 disgraced cops known as the Memphis 5, they recently were arraigned in Memphis for the murder and kidnapping of Tyre Nichols just a week or so ago, and all of them entered a not guilty plea despite the video showing what they did. And already their defense attorneys are trying to place the blame of Tyre Nichols' murder on the EMTs who delayed giving Tyre medical aid. And those EMTs have not been charged with any crimes, but they were fired for their failure to render aid in a timely manner. And so let me know if you think they should be charged with a crime in that case. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, of course, you're welcome to add your comments via text, via the chat. But I'm going to put the link in here. If you want to join the conversation and you want to go live, you can use that link that I just put in the chat, and then you can talk. But I would like to hear if you feel like the EMTs involved in the Tyre Nichols case should be charged with a crime and not just losing their jobs, not just being fired. Defense attorneys are trying to tamper with the jury pool essentially before the trial happens. by doing what I just said, by putting it out there in the media that, oh, these cops, even though they did such a horrible thing, they didn't really kill Tyre. It was the fact that the EMTs didn't do their part, and that's what killed Tyre. Now, we all know that I'm not a doctor, but we know that the longer it takes for somebody to get medical attention for a life-threatening ailment or a life-threatening situation they're in, the more likely they are to die from those injuries or that ailment. We know that. But we cannot absolve the police officers in this case. At least I wouldn't. And if you know anybody who lives in Memphis and they are potential jurors, be sure that you reach out to them. And if the defense wants to put in their 2 cents before the trial, we're going to put our 2 cents in, starting with this column. Now, before I get to that column, what I have to say to you tonight, the 2 other cops who were fired, there were 2 other cops who were fired from the Memphis Police Department. One of them is Preston Hill. The Memphis 5, they're 5 former Black cops. Now, Preston Hill is a white guy, and you probably have already seen him. You can Google his name. Essentially, he's the person who tased Tyre for use deadly force, because we know using a taser on someone can potentially be deadly force as well. So he tased Tyre without provocation because Tyre was running away from them when he was tased. So you don't tase somebody for running away. You're supposed to tase someone when you feel like you are in jeopardy of losing control of the situation, which I guess they felt like him running away was their provocation for doing so, and that's why he got fired. Because after the fact, he also said he's the one that was recorded saying, "I hope they stomp his ass." And so it seemed like, based on what we know already, there was some other plan, some other collusion going on other than a simple traffic stop. The last cop who was fired, number 7, hasn't been charged with a crime, but he was fired. And so far, that person's name is being kept out of the public. And for some reason, the police department is protecting this person. We have some idea about who this cop is, and I'll get to that later as well. Now, recently, I took a trip to Memphis to find out, talk to some locals about their engagement, how they feel about their engagement with local law enforcement. And a few people talked to me, and I have a video of a person who didn't want to go on camera. So instead of me using that, I also came across a person who she had an altercation with one of the Memphis 5 cops, and her altercation happened a couple of years before that. So when I learned about Khadijah Townes' experience with Memphis cops, including one of the now ex-cops who is charged with the murder of Tyre Nichols, I wanted you to hear her story. And so she said that she would come on and talk to me about it. And several times we scheduled for her to come on, and each time she bailed on me. And here I want to show you this because I try to go through certain things with people to bring you updates and keep you abreast of what's going on. And when people, tell me one thing, and how you try to do the little, or you might have seen me do the promotions for the interviews that I have set up. And then you come looking for the interview, and you're like, Steffanie said she was going to have an interview. And I hate that, because I want to promote it so I can get eyeballs to come and check it out and ask questions live and do whatever you want to do. But then people are so fickle these days. They say they're going to come on and they don't. And I know things happen. But I want you to, I'm going to share with you what my experience was with Miss Khadijah Townes in Memphis, and who had an altercation with one of the cops. And as a matter of fact, while I am, let me try to line up something right quick, because, well, I'll wait on that and then line it up in a minute. So here is I'm going to share with you my conversation with Miss Townes. So this was the first. Her name is Khadijah Townes. Raquel is supposed to be her sister. I found all this out on Facebook, and I had reached out to her and said, "Hey, I'm trying to reach Khadijah about her experience with one of the cops who beat Tyre Nichols." And I left her a Facebook message, yada yada yada. Can you come on? Will she do the virtual interview? And if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And so she reaches back and said, "Hey, this is she." So she was saying, "I'm the person that you want, even though you thought you were talking to my sister." I said, "Oh, great. Hope you're doing well. Are you available for a virtual interview about the experience you had with the Memphis cops that night in 2021? Because it happened a long time ago." She said, "Okay." So I said, "When are you available? Is there a good number for me to reach out to you on?" And then I gave her my number so she could call me. And then I kept thinking I'm talking to her sister. I said, "Is Khadijah available this Friday, the 17th?" So about 10 days ago, for a virtual interview. If so, let me know and I'll make myself available. She said, "Just give me a time and I'll work and I'll be there." So now I'm realizing I'm talking to the person that I really want to speak to. So then she says, so then I say, "Okay, Friday, 7 o'clock. Here's the link." Gave her the link and told her to show up early so I can check her audio and video and all of that. So then the next day before, I said, "Are we tomorrow at 7 p.m.? Please confirm. I sent you the link." So she says, "Oh, I ended up taking out my hair for an appointment and then the lady canceled, so my hair ain't done. But sorry for the inconvenience." I said, "Okay, cool," because stuff happens. You know, you want your eyes done, your nails done, your hair done, your lashes, you want everything together. All right. So I said, "Sure, we can reschedule for next week. Let me know." So then this is the 8th. So one day this week, I end up doing something to my head. So I wasn't sure if she was saying after I do something with my hair. I think that's what she was saying. Anyway, so I said, "If you're available late Sunday," so last Sunday, "that would be great. Around 7 p.m. works for me because I normally do my columns on Sundays." So then I'm reaching out to her. "Please let me know later today or tomorrow." She said, "Tomorrow, cool. Today, I'm sorry." So it was in the middle. It was like 2 a.m. So she was, confused about, okay, it's tomorrow, but really it's already today. So then she said, "Today, I'm sorry. So this is Monday." So I said, "So you're available Monday, today. Okay, what time are you available?" "I'm available anytime except 3:30. So I said, "Hey, Miss Townes, please let me know what day and time you're available to do the interview with me this week, because Monday happened and I hadn't heard from her." She said, "Anytime after 2:30 tomorrow." I said, "Okay, let's go for 6/21st. And so when I try to interview or try to set up interviews with people, I'll give them the time and the date, so it won't be a confusion. Was it this Sunday you were talking about? Was it last Sunday? We're talking about next Tuesday, this, that, and the third, going through all of that. So I always tell the people, this is what day I'm talking about, and this is the time that I'm talking about, just so we're all on the same page." So she said, so I gave her the link information again, because I don't want her to be having to scroll up, scroll down, and none of that. So then we went in and I gave her the information again. She said, "Okay, please send me a reminder." Okay, I'm like, "Okay, girlfriend." So I texted her. No, I didn't text her. I don't have her name. So I sent her, her number. I sent her a Facebook message, said, "Hey, Miss Townes, I guess you forgot or something came up, because I did not send her the message until late. So can we can try for again around 7 p.m. That's in 1 hour. Please use the link to sign in." So then she says, "Oh, I totally forgot. I got to the boutique." She has a boutique, by the way. Looks like it's cute stuff in there. And so she says she got busy and she has to pick up her car at 7, so she can't do it at 7. Can we do it anytime later after tomorrow? I said, "Will 9 p.m. tomorrow be okay? That will give you time to car, and please let me know what works." She said, "Okay." She didn't say anything. I said, "Hello, hello, are you there?" So we're scheduled to go on in 5 minutes. Are you going to make it? Then she sends me a picture of her at church. We're still at church. I'll be in the shop all day tomorrow, 1 to 7. I said, "Well, what time do you want to schedule it? Do you prefer at 7 when the shop closes? So please let me know." She said, "No, because I linger around next door, 3 to 5. I said, "Okay, 3 p.m. works." So I'm actually, trying to work with people because I know my schedule is not your schedule and is not her schedule, but I just want, everybody to be on the same page because I wanted you guys to hear what it was that she had to say. So she said 3 p.m. works. "Hello, Miss Townes. It's 2:10. We go live at 3, and that's in 50 minutes. You're planning to be there, right?" She says, "Yes." I said, "Great. See you in 40 minutes. Here's the link." Again, I'm giving her the link. I don't want no questions about the link. So then 2:53, so 7 minutes to where time is supposed to go on. I said, "I'm waiting for you now. You can sign in using the link anytime." Then I said, "We're waiting for you to sign in using the link. Is everything okay? Because by this time it's 3 o'clock. We're supposed to be on." I said, "If something has come up, please let me know. My production team is waiting for you to show up. If you changed your mind, please let me know." Nothing. That's all that I got from her. And so I just want to show y'all this. This is how I was feeling. Is it going to play it? Yeah, that's how I was feeling. I was feeling like, I'm trying to balance this out. I'm trying to make sure everybody's happy. And every time you leave me hanging. And so I haven't tried to reach out to her since then. But what I do plan to do is I'm going to bring you her story because it's important that you know her story. So here's what I learned when I went to Memphis to speak with some people, and I came across Miss Khadijah Townes. Miss Khadijah Townes, and I'm going to show you a video in a minute. Miss Khadijah Townes and her aunt and her brother were in a vehicle at like a CVS and returning a red box movie. And they when they were at the store, a police officer pulled up and said, "Hey, we're looking for somebody else. It's looking for somebody, suspects, something like that. Did you see somebody run by here or drive by here or go by here?" So Khadijah said no, because she was driving. And then the cop said, "Okay, you can go." So then as Khadijah is driving away, then another cop, a female cop, comes up to her vehicle and tells her, to get out of the car and show me your ID. And then that's when Miss Khadijah said that it went left because the cop opened her door and pulled her out. And then her aunt started recording on the aunt's cell phone. And this is what they recorded. So I'm going to pull it up, and I don't want it to start right there. Let's see. So I'm going to share my screen, and let me see if I can get it to play.
Red box. Where's your ID? In a red box, guy.
Where's your ID?
Why you need my? What I do? What I do? Why would I? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Taylor, get this. Why I gotta step out the car? I ain't did nothing. I ain't did nothing. I ain't did. Excuse me. Why you touching her? Please call. Please call. My hands is up. I ain't got nothing. My hands is up. I ain't got nothing. She's never existed. Where's your ID? I can give you my license. Wait. I can give you my license number. I don't have an ID. Why you touching me? Do it. Now I can record this. Excuse. I can record this.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there because that is the video from where her aunt recorded what happened to Khadijah when they were at the Red Box returning a movie, and essentially what you saw was the female police officer, pulling Khadijah out of the car. And she was protesting it, like, why are you pulling me out of my car? Why do you need to see my ID? What did I do wrong? And so they basically handled her real aggressively without telling her why. And according to Khadijah and her family, for no reason. Okay, so I wanted Khadijah to be here tonight to share with you her personal experience from her own words, but again, was not able to get her on. But that still doesn't change her story or the way that she was treated. So then after Khadijah was arrested, and her family drove behind the cop car to follow them to wherever they were going. Let's say they were going to the police department or wherever the jail is. And then at some point in the traffic, in the transportation, another cop got out of the vehicle and, according to Khadijah, manhandled her aunt and manhandled her brother, pulled them out of the vehicle and basically manhandled them. So and then they went ahead and took Khadijah to jail. She was released without being charged with anything. Okay, so at some point, she made a police report about that, or a complaint. She made a police complaint about the treatment. So we're going to watch this video one more time, and then I'm going to just go through it with you as we're watching it. So they were at the Walgreens, and that's the Red Box. Oh, you don't see it. Sorry. So they were at the Walgreens, and that's the Red Box return right there.
In the red box,
where's your ID?
So she was saying I was getting the red box.
Why would I? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Taylor, get this. Why I gotta?
Okay, so first of all, you asked me for my ID, and now you opening my vehicle door and pulling me out the car. Like, what's going on right now?
About the car. I ain't did nothing. I ain't did. Excuse me. Why you touching her? Please call.
So it also looks like Khadijah was in the passenger seat, and some other person was driving, presumably her auntie. So that's weird that they would stop the vehicle and not address the driver of the vehicle. But anyway,
my hands is up. I ain't got nothing. My hands is up. I ain't got nothing.
Now I'm gonna stop it right there. Officer, that is not that one. The second officer is none other than Demetrius Haley. That is what Khadijah said. She said that officer that's right there on the left side, facing the camera, she said that was Demetrius Haley. Now, Demetrius Haley is one of the officers charged in the murder and kidnapping of Tyre Nichols. This is him right here.
Red box.
That's Demetrius Haley right there. So now here's what happened. Khadijah said that they took her to jail and they released her, though, without charging her. And she made a police complaint about the treatment because she said Demetrius Haley pulled her so hard that she dislocated her shoulder, or almost dislocated her shoulder, and she made a complaint about that. But here's what happened. She never heard anything about it. Okay. She never heard anything from the police. Then this happened in 2021. 2021. Yeah, 2021. Okay. And so the next time that Khadijah saw Demetrius Haley, he was being charged with the murder and kidnapping of Tyre Nichols. Okay. So then that's when Khadijah came forth and said, I tried to tell y'all about this guy, and I tried to tell y'all about these cops on the Memphis Police Department, but y'all didn't want to hear that. And so that's how it came to be that Khadijah was telling her story, and it was going around Memphis about what had happened to her. And so after that time, then it came out that the Memphis Police Department, they actually did hear they did hear Khadijah's complaint. They did look through the complaint, and what they said in the information 2 years later, because she said they never followed up with her or her family. But what she later found out in 2023, after the murder of Tyre Nichols, is that when she made her complaint against the cops, including the female police officer, the second police officer, and Demetrius Haley, the third cop that's now in connection charged with the murder and kidnapping of Tyre Nichols, she said that the police department was going to, they asked the female cop, why did you end up charging Khadijah with anything? What were you going to charge her with? Because she was not charged with anything. And the female cop said she found marijuana on Khadijah. But in the police report of the situation, there was no mention of marijuana. So they were like, well, where's the weed? Where's the weed that you said you found that you was going to charge her with? And she said, the female cop said, oh, I threw it away. Say, what now? So you were going to charge somebody, you pull somebody out of their car, you put them in handcuffs, was going to take them to jail over some weed that you said you threw away? Come on now, you know what? That don't sound right. Of course we know that doesn't sound right. Now they said, according to this, now we in 2023, they, looking back 2021, the police department, according to the paperwork, they were supposed to be taking this female cop, they were supposed to be taking her before the review committee for what was it, excessive force and whatever else, but it was mainly, sorry, I'm trying to say mostly and mainly at the same time. It was mainly for excessive force. They said, but the cop quit before she went before the review board, and that was the end of the story. So you mean to tell me if you commit an offense like that against somebody and you just quit, that's the end of the story? Now that's what they said. And as far as Demetrius Haley, because she also put him in there for allegedly dislocating her shoulder, Khadijah Townes did. She said that according to that information, it was a superior officer that came and spoke up for Demetrius Haley at that time, back in 2021, and said, oh, he's a good guy, was caught up in a bad situation of this incident, and we know that is not how he really is. Fast forward to 2023, we know that's who they are. We know that's who he is, because this is the same Demetrius Haley who, after all the investigating has gone on, is the same person who took pictures of Tyre Nichols when he was, after they had beaten him, and texted that picture to at least 4 people, to 2 other cops, to a city of Memphis employee, and to a woman who has not been named. At least we don't know her name. Okay. And so there were no words with the text of a picture. It was just a picture. Now, I know if somebody texts me a picture of somebody that's beat up and I don't understand what's going on, I am going to text back and say, what's this about? I'm gonna give him this kind of emoji, like, what's going on right now? But nobody responded like that. So that leads people to further believe that this guy it was some type of collusion or at least a plan going on, that was the plan they had for Tyre. So Khadijah Townes said that Demetrius Haley is the cop who 2 years ago almost dislocated her shoulder, if not dislocated her shoulder. And when she made a complaint, Memphis cops didn't do nothing about it. And a superior officer stuck up for him on the complaint, saying, oh, he's not that type of dude. And now he's charged with murdering somebody. Okay. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. So my plan was to ask Khadijah what was next for her. Was she going to file her own lawsuit against the police department? And it might be, statute of limitations might have run out on that. Because they do have a statute of limitations, just giving you, they don't want to hold stuff over people forever. If something happened, it's best to go ahead and make it known your wishes to make it right within a month, or no more than 6 months, because by that time they probably, that's going to be the main thing they hold over you, is why you didn't tell us sooner. What happened? If it was that bad, why didn't you come forth? And so again, there is a seventh person, a seventh cop who has been fired, but he was not named. And here's the person that everybody is saying in Memphis that they say is the name of the cop, is the person who filed the police report. Because looking at the police report that was submitted on the Tyre Nichols case from this group of cops, it was not any of the 5 cops that were initially fired and now are charged with murder and kidnapping. It was not Preston Hemphill, who was the ex-cop who tased Tyre. So that's 6 cops. It was a 7th cop that filed the police report, put his name on the police report. And it was an erroneous police report. We know how they do on these police reports. They make up stuff. And essentially, the person who filed the police report, I'm not going to say the name of the cop, because I don't know for sure if this is the same cop who was fired, but that's the word on the street in Memphis. In fact, on that police report, not only did it say that Tyre fought them, that Tyre tried to take somebody's weapon, it also said that Tyre's mother showed up to the scene and essentially corroborated, saying, oh, my son was given drugs by someone, and that's why he attacked the cops. That's what it said on the police report. And that's not true, because we've heard from Tyre Nichols' mother that the first time she heard anything about the incident was when cops came and knocked on her door, and that was when they were telling her that her son was in the hospital, but she couldn't go see him because he was under arrest. So so many lies. So we're thinking, especially everybody in Memphis, and it's not corroborated, but that the 7th cop is that the police department is protecting, and we don't know why they're protecting him. We haven't answered that, but they're saying the 7th cop is the one who signed the police report that was full of lies. Okay. And so that's why they said he got fired. And that's why he was not charged as of yet, but he's definitely, they know he filed a false police report, and that's why he got fired. And yeah. So when I can corroborate that, or have somebody in the department to verify that, then I will let you know. But this is why it's important for us to make reports. And even if in Khadijah Townes' case, they didn't do anything at the time, the more reports that are made, especially on one individual, the more times that they have to question, wait a minute now, we know he's supposed to be a good cop, but this person made a report, and then that person made a report, and then we got all these reports, and you start lining stuff up. Then that's when you're going to realize, that's when it's going to come that somebody is going to either do something about it, or if nothing is done about it and it ends up that a Tyre Nichols situation unfortunately happens to someone, then that's going to give the family more evidence and more proof in a court of law for a civil lawsuit and for criminal charges, because the police department should have handled this person when they first got these reports. But the more they let people go on and on to the break of dawn, doing whatever they want to people, then the more liable that law enforcement agency will be. And that's just only another way we can hold people responsible. These are crooked cops gone wild. And again, this was not the first time for Demetrius Haley, and we don't know how many other people are out there. So if you know anybody who lives in the Memphis area, and I said this even when the video first came out, let your family members look at that video if they live in Memphis or they know anybody lives in Memphis. Look at that video and see if any of those cops are the ones that stopped you or your loved one, because you might be able to help the next person, or help get these cops where they should be, and that's in prison, by testifying on what they did to you or to your family member. So also, this is also going to be a testament to being ready and willing to take action as a juror, because when they call you for jury duty, you don't know what case you're going to get, but you need to understand that you could be on a jury where you could possibly save somebody's life who is wrongly accused, or you could help put some people behind bars who need to be there. And so take jury duty as you should, a responsible citizen doing his or her job in your community. And because you always want somebody on the jury, in the courtroom, who can excuse me, who can be there on your behalf, or to hand out justice when it is due. So to find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. That's at eurweb.com. Thanks, and you have a super day.